Hi, it's Linda with Civic Engagement, Inc. It's MayDay. MayDay is a well-known, internationally known word for distress. And the United States of America is definitely in distress right now. And so this is my happy MayDay message. I want to give you a couple of ideas that you can think about that might help make you feel better, might give you some hope for the future. I had originally thought that people could go change their registration from an R or a D to a U. And it turns out that Alaska is actually the only state that requires people to register a party. So there are 31 states that allow you to nominally affiliate yourself with a party. And there are states that won't let you vote in a primary unless you declare a party. But so there are different ballots in the primary, and if you're an R, you get one ballot. If you're a D, you get another ballot. All of this needs to go away. Ranked choice voting is one way to really get away from this system. We have implemented that in Alaska, although there are a lot of people who've actually tried to, they continue to try to undo that because people got elected that they didn't want. But it was what Alaskans wanted. Alaskans, for the most part, are very happy with the outcome of the ranked choice voting that we've done already and will continue to do, because the efforts to recall it continue to fail, and they will continue to fail, because it is the right way to go, and all states should adopt it. That would get rid of this business of you can only vote in a Republican primary, because in the primaries, you may really want to vote cross-ticket. So if you're in a place where they have required you to state your registration, change it to a U for undeclared, or in this case, unhappy. We really need to find a way to come together. We need a way to break out of this political framework that we're in, because this is the year that we're celebrating our 250th forming of the country. And everyone should remember that the founding fathers, not only did they not want political parties, our founding fathers were very brave men. They were afraid, deeply, deeply afraid of political parties, because they knew that they were a risk to democracy and our republic. And here we are, bound up in a system where we're owned by political parties that aren't serving us. Many people say, the RNC and the DNC are two wings of the same bird, and they're not wrong. The underlying principles of the parties are very different. But the corporate behavior and the money that's gotten into our elections is wrong, and it's killing us. So we need to find a way. So if someone asks you or accuses you of being a Republican or a Democrat, and you're somebody that's unhappy with how things are right now, tell them, no, I'm really undeclared. I might vote democratically when the time comes, but I'm undeclared. I don't associate with any party. We have to find a way to stop the gerrymandering, and we have to find a way to break the money out of the system. And the only way to do that is going to be to stand together. And I do believe it's about 80% of the people right now in this country are miserable about what's happening for many different reasons, and on both sides of the aisle and down the middle. We're all unhappy. The only people that are unhappy are the extremists, the ones who you could spell Republican with the 3 Ks in the middle. And don't kid yourself. This isn't new. This hasn't just happened. This has been happening for the last 50 years. And I've been raising alarm bells all along, pointing out, look at this isn't right, this isn't right. But we just keep going. We don't want to deal with what we have to deal with, which is how we're the problem ourselves. We are each individually the problem ourselves because we've allowed it to get this far. We haven't stood up. We haven't fought for what's right. And the truth of the matter is, when we came to this country, there was a handful of people that were coming to this country for a completely different reason. They came to this country to make the same kind of country they left, only they would be the ones in power. And they have been fighting to do that ever since. And our problem for the rest of us, for the 80% of us that's left, is we never stand up to it. We never stood up to it after the Civil War. We never asked them to leave. We never figured out a way to get them somewhere where they belonged, because they don't belong here. They don't belong here now. They still don't belong here. This is not their country. The country that they're trying to make is not what this country is. And the majority of us have got to figure out a way to make that blaringly apparent to them. And we can't keep, just sweeping it under the rug. And as much as I love many of the things that the 46th president did for us, the one thing that that administration did not do was deal with what happened during the administration prior. They wasted time on investigations. They didn't push things. They didn't follow through. And so we're very close to the end of the democracy and republic that we have. And don't keep thinking that the November elections will save us, because this administration is going to do everything they can to keep us from having elections. Don't kid yourself. We're in deep trouble. So if you've been making phone calls, keep it up. If you've been sending postcards, keep it up. Everything you've been doing, keep it up. If you can change your registration, if you have a letter on your voter ID card, go change it to a U. Somehow we have to get their attention. Somehow, and stop. Here's the other thing: stop giving money. Stop giving money through the RNC or through the DNC. If you want to give money to a specific candidate, find the pathway that gets it to them directly. Their website. Don't go through ActBlue. Don't go through ActBlue. There are got to be other ways to get them the money so that it's not being tracked by ActBlue, and it's not PAC money. And don't give money to people who are taking PAC money from Israel or anywhere else. No PAC money, individual donations. We have to break the system. The Founding Fathers didn't want political parties. And this is the 250th anniversary of our country, and we're imbued with nothing but political parties, two political parties that have us tied in a knot. Time to end it. Time to break it out. Everybody go undeclare. Everybody adopt ranked choice voting. And parties no longer matter. Simple things. We have to make it happen, though. So I wish you all the best. I hope you had a great May Day. I'm in Alaska, so we're like 4 hours off of everybody else on the East Coast. So this will post on May Day, but it may not be May Day when it hits your feed. But I love you all. I feel you all. I feel deeply the pain of what's happening here. And I want us to find a way out. And we can find a way out if we work together. And if we stop othering each other. We're all in this. This is our country. And our country was founded on some very basic principles that the current administration and previous administrations, not the last one, but before that, have attempted to get rid of. This has been going on for 50 years. This started with Nixon. It started with Nixon. And it's why they killed Kennedy. Right? Kennedy was the new wave. Kennedy was everything they've undone. That's what he stood for in my mind. I was a child. And I loved him, and my parents loved him. Everybody I knew loved him. And they killed him. But because he was going to go after this. He was going to unpack what we're living through now. He was going to get it out of our country. And they killed him because of that. And then we got Nixon, and he did away with not-for-profit health care. And it's been downhill from there. They've taken things away. You know, public education when I grew up, wow. You never heard about teachers needing to buy things out of pocket to supplement supplies. And we had all kinds of extracurricular activities. We had band, we had art, we had all kinds of things. Forensics, chess clubs, debate. We don't have any of that now. I don't know what they're teaching. But they're not teaching home economics, shop. I learned how to sew. Boys learned how to use power tools. It was amazing. And then when we left school, there were junior colleges that were, if not free, very reasonably priced. I mean, I think $680 is what I recall for a semester at junior college. That was in California. So that was only possible because during Eisenhower's presidency, at the end of the 50s, the tax rate on the rich was 90%. Where do you think all the bridges and the inner... We know we built a road from one side of the country to the other and from the top to the bottom, lots of them. We built bridges, we built dam, we built the Hoover Dam. That wasn't cheap. Where do you think that money came from? It came from taxes. It came from rich people. But it came from rich people who understood that they only needed 10% of the wealth they had because they couldn't even spend that in their lifetime. And they understood how this country was supposed to work. And they were generous. And they were happy with getting to put their names on things. But look at what they gave us. And, they weren't all great. There were crappy things that happened during that period as well. And there were people who abused things and people who were corrupt. But look at what they accomplished. Now the entire country, the bridges are broken, the railroads falling, everything's falling apart. Everything. And now we don't even have people to clean them because everybody's afraid to go to work because they don't want to get busted by ice. It's an untenable system. Now the rich don't pay anything. In the 70s, it dropped down to 70% or so, and then it just plummeted. After Reagan, it was over. It was over. But what you need to understand is this didn't happen by random, right? The survivors of the Civil War, the families that survived the Civil War, they never died, and they never gave up their hope of changing this country into the country they intended, which was exactly the country that they had left, but worse. Because even though they left England and they were unhappy about persecution in England, I don't think England was a fascist, authoritarian. I mean, it was authoritarian, but I'm not sure it was fascist and racist and all those other things. I don't know. I didn't research that statement, so don't yell at me if I'm wrong. I mean, correct me, but the country that they're trying to fashion isn't the country that most of us believe we lived in, that we grew up in. I don't know where I live now. I mean, I'm white, apparently white, and I have freckles, and, you know, I don't have blue eyes, but I usually pass for white, and I'm scared shitless. I drive around with my passport because I don't trust anybody now. You got a uniform on, you got a face mask on, I don't care. I don't trust you. You're part of the government, I don't trust you. And I think that's how we're all feeling. Very vulnerable and frightened by the people, from the people who we used to rely on, we used to trust. We used to at least think they had our interests at heart. I mean, I think back to Obama when he fought so hard to get the Affordable Care Act in place after, you know, decades of Republicans saying, oh, we have a plan, we're going to release it next week. I think 47 said that, you know, early on in this round. He said something like that. Oh, yeah, we have a new plan, it's coming. You know, we're still waiting. If we were holding our breath, we'd be dead. But that's what they want. They pretty much want us all dead, or rounded up and in one of their warehouses, or, you know. So my point is, we need to find ways to come together. And we need to find ways to show them, because they are not listening to us. And I don't care how many phone calls we're making and how many postcards we're sending or any of it. The people at the top are not listening to us. They have their own agenda, and they are just marching right along to it. If you go look up the Project 2025 tracker, they are well on their way to accomplishing the things that they're trying to accomplish. And look at the agencies. Go down and look at the bottom of that list and look at the agencies they haven't even got there to yet. They're already crippled. Everything else that's happened has already crippled those agencies. So by the time they get to the agencies they intend to destroy, they won't have much to do because they've already done it. So stand together. Don't vote for an R. Don't vote for a D. Don't vote blue blue anyway, whatever that phrase is. Blue no matter what you do. It's gotten us some bad people. And if they know that we're doing that, it encourages bad people to engage. And we don't need any more bad people engaging in politics right now. There's enough bad people involved. So you have to be smart. Sometimes the Republican is the better choice. Because again, what we need are genuine people. We need good people. So I'll take a Republican that tells the truth, assuming you could find one, over a Democrat who's going to lie. Who's going to lie and cheat, or who's going to serve themselves. I would prefer a Democrat who would play by the rules. Now, this country used to be a rule of law. Now we're not. And that's because the administration at the very top is ignoring every law that exists, pretty much. So how do we get back to a place where the rule of law actually applies, and when we can feel safe again? This is not an easy place to be in this country right now. But again, I want you to remember, the Founding Fathers, not only did they not want political parties, they were afraid of them. The men who, in their minds, created this place, created that paperwork, thought up the whole deal, feared political parties. They were petrified of them. So sleep on that. Think about that. And maybe find a way in your own life where you can divorce yourself of the party and just focus on the people who are presenting themselves to you to be voted upon. Focus on their platform. What are their principles? Are they good people? Do they lie? Because we all lie. We all lie. And let me just, in closing, explain that, because it's a really important piece of fixing what's wrong here in this country. Sorry about the phone flipping. I'm holding it with my hand on my desk. So we lie. And what I believe is that our tendency to lie is actually very natural. It's a built-in survival aspect of our physiology. I like to call it an unintended consequence of creation. Because we created these bodies in order for us to come here and experience and create heaven on earth. That's why we're all here. It's a whole separate video. I'm not getting into that. But given that, that's why we're here. We have these bodies that we inhabit. We each get one when we come here, and we give it up when we leave. And I know for a fact that we come here more than once. This world is made up of humanoid bodies walking around containing souls that have had multiple lives here with multiple different people, as multiple different people. And so that's why when you meet somebody, there's certain people you'll meet and you instantly are drawn to them, and you have some connection you can't even explain. That's one of those people. You know them from somewhere else. You've had another life with them, and you had some kind of a relationship. So that's kind of important to know. But in any case, my point is, these bodies are designed to take care of us, keep us happy, keep us safe. And the ego, the aspect of the body that is the ego, is the piece that will keep you safe. That's what it's designed for. And so your ego wants to take care of you. And anytime you're unhappy or you're sad or something is wrong, your ego is what is going to come to the forefront, and it's going to try to solve your problem for you. Because what your ego wants is for you to be happy at all times. It wants to soothe you, and it wants you to be happy at all times. And what will happen is, if you're in a situation where you're uncomfortable, you feel threatened, you may be tempted to lie about something to cover for yourself in order to make yourself feel better. So I had an incident like that just the other day where I missed a telemed appointment. I had a telemed appointment that was supposed to happen at 1:30 my time. And I had taken the truck in for an oil change, and the lady called me to the counter at 1:15. And the next thing I knew, it was 3 o'clock, and I had missed the telemed. And I wanted to lie about what happened. I wanted to say I set alarms and they didn't go off. But that wouldn't be true. What would be true is I thought I set alarms and they didn't go off. Right? I'm in my 70s. A lot goes on. And I can't swear on the Bible that I actually set the alarms that I thought I had set. I can't. And so, but my ego wanted to defend me, wanted to make it better, wanted to make me right. And so my ego wanted me to say, I set alarms. And in fact, I think my ego actually made me say, I set alarms, when I was having the conversation with the nurse. And it was actually only after that, after I'd hung up, that I thought about it, and it was like, you know what, that wasn't true. You didn't, you thought you had, but you can't swear to the fact that you did. And that's just a perfect example of how the ego is always functioning, always monitoring what's happened, and always trying to make us feel better. And so what happens is we lie incessantly. We all do it. And the fact is that if you don't know that that's how you're wired, and you don't understand that that's how that mechanism is working, you might mistakenly think it's okay. It's not. It's not okay. So, in the aftermath of missing that appointment, at one point I ended up on the phone with the nurse, and I guess I was upset enough about it that she felt uncomfortable. She thought I was raising my voice, and she waved at other person in the room to listen to me. But that other person is the person who I'm used to dealing with. And instead of saying, hey, I just asked so-and-so to come in and you know, listen and maybe see if she might be able to explain a little better. They didn't do that. The one just stood there and listened. And that lack of transparency, that was not honest. That was a not honest environment, and a form of a lie on their own end, right? I'm having a conversation with what I think is one person, and all of a sudden I'm actually having a conversation with two people that I haven't been informed. These are just two examples. If you think about it in your own life, if you watch yourself, watch the tendency, you know, to omit or to embellish, and just try to be more genuine, more real, more transparent, more authentic with yourself and with everyone else. We need to become better people, because the people that are running our country right now, they're not good people, and it's very clear that they're not good people. But it requires good people to fix the problem. So that's on us, right? We all have to be the best we can be. And no pressure, just it should be what you want. It should be what you want to be, right? You're in your heart, what you should really want as number one is to be the best person you can be, because you're going to have the best life experience if you come at it that way. If you come at it focused on what other people are doing, you're not going to find a life of happiness. Because, and this is a whole different video too, there's really nothing out here, right? When you understand the science of it, when you understand the quantum physics of it, everything comes from within. And what you're looking at here is like a collective hologram that we've all decided to participate in, including what looks like inanimate objects. So, when you see something and you're reacting to something, it's not about the something, it's about you. And if you can learn to shift your focus and understand that when something arises out here that makes you very unhappy, or even happy, I mean, it applies both ways, you have to look within to find what the cause is. Because the cause is not out there. There technically isn't anything out there. It looks like there is, but it really isn't. So, close to a half hour. I thought I could do it in 10 minutes. There you go. I love you all. I know you're struggling. I feel the struggle. On bad days, because I'm 4 hours earlier than Eastern time, and on bad days when horrible things happen on the East Coast, I'm awake with you, going through it, because I can feel it. I can feel it. Easter morning was one of the worst days I've had in years. Years and years. Maybe never. Maybe I've never had a bad day like that, because I could feel the outrage from the entire planet that day. And so I feel you. I know you're there. Reach out to me if you have questions. Reach out if there's something I can do to help. We can do this. It's MayDay, and we're in distress, but we're not alone. We have each other. And I love you all. Until next time. Oh, please share this too. If you like any of the ideas, please share it, like it, repost it, restack it. Thanks, guys.